At Crawford Industries, a company renowned throughout the nation for pioneering engineering breakthroughs and manufacturing some of the most advanced machinery in the world, the atmosphere in the sleek conference room was thick with tension and frustration as executives and senior engineers gathered to face a crisis no one had anticipated. The prototype engine, touted as the future of automotive power, had catastrophically failed during a critical high-stakes demonstration that was meant to secure a multi-million-dollar contract with a top international client. As the hum of whispered doubts and anxious speculation filled the room, eyes darted between blueprints, diagnostic reports, and the silent, motionless engine resting under the spotlight in the center. The pressure to find a solution was immense. Time was running out, confidence was waning, and the company's reputation was on the line. Into this charged environment stepped Elijah Turner, a seasoned and highly respected black mechanic whose hands had repaired and rebuilt engines long before many of the engineers present were even out of school. Elijah had been with Crawford Industries for decades, a pillar of skill and dedication in the shop floor trenches, but despite his experience, he remained overlooked by the company's upper echelon, his contributions often overshadowed by the polished suits and sharp minds of corporate leadership. This time, however, Elijah was convinced that the answer might lie beyond the usual circle of engineers and executives. Quietly but firmly, he suggested they let his daughter Amara take a look at the failed engine. The room instantly erupted with incredulous laughter and murmurs of disbelief. Amara was only 17, a teenager who had grown up in the shadow of her father's workshop, learning the language of engines and machines from the ground up, often teaching herself advanced engineering concepts from online courses and dusty textbooks. Yet in the eyes of the executives and senior staff, she was dismissed as just a kid, and worse, just the help's daughter. The CEO, Warren Briggs, a man known for his sharp tongue and thinly veiled arrogance, sneered openly and challenged her with cutting sarcasm. "Fix it, if you even know which end of the wrench to hold." The jeers and smirks from the boardroom only deepened, some openly betting that the girl wouldn't last 10 minutes under the hood. Amara, however, stood quietly and unshaken, meeting their condescending gazes with a calmness and determination that belied her age. Her eyes, burning with quiet fire and fierce resolve, spoke louder than words. No one in that room realized that this young woman, armed with grit, passion, and a mind as sharp as any of their Ivy League-educated engineers, was about to prove them all wrong in ways they couldn't imagine. As she rolled up her sleeves and approached the engine, a hush fell over the room, the laughter fading into silence as curiosity and a grudging respect began to take root. This was not just about fixing a machine, it was a turning point, a challenge to the assumptions and prejudices that had long kept talent like Amara's on the sidelines. The moment was charged with possibility, a spark waiting to ignite into a blaze that could change lives, reputations, and the very future of Crawford Industries itself. Amara stayed long after everyone else had left the sprawling Crawford Industries factory, the hum of machinery dimming to a distant murmur as night settled outside, casting deep shadows over the workbench cluttered with tools, blueprints, and half-disassembled engine parts. Under the harsh glow of a solitary lamp, she pored over the engine's schematics, the intricate diagrams spread before her like a challenging puzzle waiting to be solved, her keen eyes scanning every line, every notation, every minute detail that could explain the catastrophic failure that had baffled the company's top engineers. Despite the exhaustion that threatened to creep into her bones, Amara's mind raced with relentless curiosity and determination, piecing together clues from the engine's malfunction reports, cross-referencing design specs, and drawing on the countless hours she'd spent in her father's garage, learning to listen to the subtle language of machines. Outside her small sanctuary, senior engineers wandered past the workshop with skeptical glances, their whispers tinged with disbelief and condescension, some openly doubting that a teenage girl, especially one from the factory floor, could unravel the mystery that had stumped so many seasoned professionals. Yet Amara, undeterred by their sneers, felt a quiet confidence fueled by a deep intuitive understanding of engines and a fierce resolve to prove her worth not just to them, but to herself. As the night deepened, she began to uncover the root of the problem. Not simply a mechanical failure, but a fundamental design flaw hidden beneath layers of corporate pride and assumptions, a blind spot in the prototype's engineering that no one dared question, because it came from the highest echelons of the company's design team. With meticulous care and unwavering focus, Amara methodically dismantled the complex machinery piece by piece, her slender hands deftly working through the dense tangle of wires, pistons and valves, recalibrating components, and innovating a clever workaround that defied conventional engineering wisdom, an elegant solution born not from textbooks, but from hands-on experience and bold thinking. All the while, Elijah watched from the doorway with a mix of pride and awe, seeing in his daughter a strength and skill far beyond her years, a confidence forged in the crucible of years, working side by side with him in the garage, tempered by a passion that no doubt would soon shake the very foundations of Crawford Industries and rewrite the rules of what was possible when talent was given the chance to shine. The dawn broke over Crawford Industries with a golden light that streamed through the expansive windows of the factory floor, but inside, the tension remained thick as the morning team filed into the workshop, eyes immediately drawn to the engine. That had been the source of so much frustration and ridicule. There, standing confidently beside the gleaming machine, was Amara Turner, her clothes stained with grease and sweat from a long night of relentless work. Her face flushed, but eyes steady and unwavering, a stark contrast to the skeptical expressions of the engineers who had doubted her. The air was electric with anticipation as she approached the control panel and pressed the ignition button, and in that instant, the engine roared to life with a powerful, smooth hum, cleaner, quieter, and far more efficient than anyone had anticipated, sending a ripple of stunned silence across the room, the laughter and mocking whispers of the past replaced by wide-eyed disbelief and hushed murmurs of awe. Engineers crowded around, their faces a mixture of shock and grudging respect as they examined the precise modifications she had made, innovations that not only repaired the fatal flaw, but enhanced the entire system's performance beyond the original design. Warren Briggs, the CEO who had so openly scorned her, stood frozen, his face flushed with embarrassment and fury, desperately trying to redirect the credit toward her father, Elijah. But Elijah calmly stepped forward and with quiet pride declared she did this. All of it. The weight of those words settled over the room, breaking the spell of disbelief as applause began tentatively, growing louder and more sincere until it thundered through the factory, echoing the profound respect earned by the young woman who had once been dismissed as an outsider. Amara, once the target of ridicule, now stood at the heart of the very institution that had doubted her, commanding not just the attention, but the admiration of everyone present. A living testament to the power of determination, talent, and courage to shatter barriers and transform even the most entrenched skepticism into awe. News of Amara's extraordinary accomplishment spread like wildfire beyond the walls of Crawford Industries, the viral video capturing her meticulous, fearless work on the impossible engine fix circulating across social media platforms and sparking a nationwide conversation about untapped talent, the power of youth, the destructive weight of racial prejudice, and the urgent need to open doors of opportunity for those historically overlooked. Soon, prestigious engineering schools reached out to her with invitations to join their programs, impressed by her raw skill and innovative thinking, while influential investors and tech entrepreneurs saw in her not just a prodigy, but a beacon of hope and progress, offering scholarships, internships, and even startup capital to help launch her promising career. Yet Amara's ambitions stretched far beyond personal success or fame. Deeply aware of the systemic barriers that had tried to hold her back, she was determined to build a future where kids like her, from underserved communities and facing obstacles of race and class, could access the education, mentorship, and resources necessary to nurture their own talents and dreams. Alongside her father, Elijah, she opened a vibrant community garage and tech innovation lab, a sanctuary where young minds were trained in mechanics, robotics, and engineering design, empowered to believe in their own potential and equipped with the skills to break cycles of limitation. Years passed, and that same CEO, Warren Briggs, the man who once mocked her, stood on a grand stage to present Amara with a prestigious honorary engineering award, his face reflecting not just respect, but genuine admiration. Yet the true triumph for Amara was not the accolades or recognition from the corporate world, but the heartfelt applause from her students, who saw her not simply as the girl who defied expectations and shattered ceilings, but as the woman who, through kindness, wisdom, and relentless dedication, taught them they were already enough, capable of greatness, simply by embracing their own worth and potential, a legacy far richer than any trophy, rooted in the transformation of lives and the creation of a more just and inclusive future.